प्लीज।
सर शान भी आपकी सबकी तो सर शोले रिलीज होने के बाद आप पे वो होता है कि यार इतनी बड़ी हिट दे दी, अपना अगला क्या करेगा। तो शान जब एकदम उस वक्त, क्योंकि वो भी मल्टी स्टार है उसमें भी, और उस वक्त क्या था सर?
उस वक्त ऐसा था, हमने उस सब आर्टिस्ट इकट्ठे हुए थे कि पहली प्रिंट शान की देखनी है। 70 mm स्टीरियोफोनिक साउंड, बच्चन राव, शशि जी, सब all प्रवीण, सलीम जावेद, all the actors and actresses and all the crew was there। और हम पहुंच गए तो लास्ट शो चल रहा था शोले का। पूरी पिक्चर खत्म हुई, फिर एक सन्नाटा छा गया और सबने कहा कि यार इसी को चलने दो, अब इसको उतार के कुछ और लगाएंगे, पता नहीं क्या करेंगे, क्यों ना इसी को चलने दें। तो उस वक्त बात की और मॉर्निंग शो हमने उसका रहने दिया, शोले का, और ये लगाई। फिल्म was released. Film initially felt disappointing, not from its technique or its the finesse was excellent. It was appreciated also in many ways, लेकिन वो बात नहीं है। सबका एक ही कहना था, वो शोले वाली बात नहीं है। तो ऐसा होता है जब इतनी हवा बन गई, जो 42 साल बाद भी हम उसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो उसको वाइप आउट करना दिमाग से और दूसरी चीज को एक्सेप्ट करना इतना आसान नहीं होता। अगर मैंने उल्टा किया होता, पहले शान बना लेता और ये लेता, तो उससे बड़ी वो, फिर उसके बाद प्रॉब्लम होता, प्रॉब्लम तो होता, तो इसमें हो गया। तो ये बात है।
Yes. Could you tell us something about the casting process for shooting? How did you do that?
Casting process. It was fairly simple because Sita or Geeta, my cast was already, half the cast was already in it. Dharamji, Sanjeev, is who we took, Dharamji, Sanjeev and Hemaji, they were already in my film. So as the story was completing, 3 obvious characters seemed right for them. We filled that berth with them. When it came to one more pair, Jaya ji had come up at that time. Guddi was a film that showed a lot of promise for her. So ऐसा लगा कि she's such an expressive face. After a very long time, I found an actress with so much expression on her face. And I knew in my mind that this role, since it would not be much of a dialogue role for her, I certainly needed someone who could express herself through her eyes and through the lines of her face. And therefore, I felt that she should be cast. Of course, Salim Javed, all of us sat, discussed it. It was a joint decision. But that was my very strong personal feeling. And for the man opposite, there was a bit of a tussle, a lot of discussions. Shatrughan Sinha's name came up. Other names came up as well. The strongest contender besides Amitji was Shatrughan Sinha, of course. Then we had the idea was to decide on him, and we said, let's see the rushes of the film. That's what Salim Javed, since they had suggested, let's take Amitabh Bachchan. So we went and saw Parwana, in which there was no complimentary really aspect to his work or the film, so it was a bit disappointing. But yet, I had seen 2 films of his which impressed me. One was Anand, in which he played a very quiet, strong-willed character, and he was a perfect foil to Rajesh Khanna's of Babu Mushai. And the other was an extreme opposite, Bombay to Goa, in which he played a very light role. And almost the whole film was inside a bus. And in that bus, this tall, lanky fellow, if you stand up, he'd hit the ceiling. And yet, he moved around the bus with such agility, such wonderful dexterousness that he won me over in the sense that how can this guy find comfort in all this singing songs and doing things lightly? So here's a perfect combination of somebody who can do a strong role as well as the lighter side of it, and he can sing and he can dance that way. It's great. And I was very conscious of one thing. I didn't want a superstar. Casting wise, I already had 3 with me, and Jaya was the upcoming superstar. And also we had signed Danny Zongpa for the role of Gabbar. So the decision was, let's go with Amitabh Bachchan. It's another thing that by the time we released Sholay, Zanjeer had released, Diwar had released, it already started shooting up. But the next obvious question is, how come Danny and why? Yes. Danny, because he was the best good man, bad man. We had signed him, a check was given to him. He remembers it till today. I have your check. When do you want to cash it? In good humor. But yes, we had signed him. He was shooting at that time when we were ready to start. He was shooting for a film called Dharmatma with Feroz Khan. And he had a damn good role there, as well as they were already, they started filming and they were in the middle of their schedules. I said, we can't wait. I'm sorry. You sure you can't get out of it? I mean, or finish it or adjust according to our dates. I said, I'd like to say that, but there I have a similar problem. How can I tell them I can't walk away from their shoot either? Fair enough. So we started thinking of the next possibility, and shooting was less than 6 weeks or so away. So again, Salim Javed came up with the name of Amjad Khan. Amjad Khan was the son of a very fine actor, Jayant. So the pedigree was there. He was working with Mr. K. Asif at that time, making of Love and God. So we called him to the office, had a look at him, and then I remembered suddenly that this is the guy I saw on stage doing a play about South Africa, in which my sister was playing. That's why I had gone to see the play. My sister was playing a South African and he was playing opposite her. There was a nice agility about him, such a hulky guy, and yet it was all there. And when I saw his face in the office, just felt, this looks like Gabbar. We called him a few days later, told him to grow a stubble beard, and dressed him up in that army outfit with the belt and everything, which are still le liye, and we had Gabbar Singh with us. That's how it started. Anything else?
Yes. We learn more from failures. Can you elaborate the title? You learn more from the failures.
Yes, you do.
Can you elaborate on
Yes. Why did Shan not do as well? Wasn't what you would call a flop. It did well. It made money. Not the kind of money Sholay made, but it did make money. But it wasn't like one was better than the other, or one was equally. So, what did I learn from that? One thing is, whenever I've started to make a film, I always try to do something different. It was different from Sholay in the sense that it was in the city rather than, I don't know if you all remember both the films. One was a countryside film and one was the heart of the city, and very modern, very James Bond kind of atmosphere. So after tasting that local color, this Western, foreign feel to it did not go down very well. Also, I tried to create something again along the lines of the multi-star cast with a lot of money going into technique as well as, and somehow the essence of it was in its own way similar. There was a bad man, there were some good guys, and the good guys go after the bad guys and finish them off. So there was no freshness of thematic value. So I think people felt, well, that's good. Yeah, okay, but not better than that. So you need to step back before you venture into your next. How can I be different? And yet, because the audience's expectations are what they are. But you try to sometimes swim with the tide. That time I swam with the tide. I said, everybody wants action and everybody wants a multi-star cast and everybody wants this, let's give it to them. That was a mistake. So you learn, you must make a film with your own beliefs, your own conviction, and then move on.
Yes.
From today's actually, you have to cast Jay and Viru again for remaking Sholay. Whom would you?
Thank God I'm not going to make it again. So I don't have to answer that question.
सर इसी का कंटिन्यूएशन है. जब रामगोपाल वर्मा ने अनाउंस किया कि मैं रामगोपाल वर्मा की आज बना रहा हूँ, शोले को ट्रीटमेंट दूंगा, जब आपने वो खबर पढ़ी होगी या सुनी होगी?
नो मेरे पास आए थे.
अच्छा, तो थोड़ा सा अगर आप उसका
मेरे पास आए थे, वो आए थे और उन्होंने कहा कि रमेश जी मैं ये करना चाहता, मुझे लगता है कि मैं कुछ कर सकता हूँ, उसको अगर अपने हिसाब से मैं बनाऊंगा. So that's up to you. I would not advise it. A lot of people have told me to make Sholay again. Even I will not venture into Sholay. And that was about, what, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it was. So, why touch that? It's a classic. Just leave it. where it is. It's not impossible what he said. It can be done. But you need to have that perfect. If you're going to have a take on it, a take on Sholay, then it better be brilliant in its own way. It may take the essence of Sholay, but it better be brilliant in its own way. It happens, a film like Titanic is made once, it doesn't work. James Cameron comes along and makes it, and it's one of the biggest films of the world ever. So it's not impossible, but it's a very tough job to try and do that. It was easier for him because Titanic was a failure. He had to improve on it. That was not so difficult. But trying to do something more than a huge big hit which has gone into people's psyche, that's not very easy.
Last question.
My question is for Kiran ma'am. Ma'am, which is your favorite character from Sholay?
At different times, different ones. I think I like all of them. I've seen it so many times, on, off, back, forth. I think I live every character. Very difficult for me to say. I love all of them. I love Basanti when she comes on, and I love Viru when he talks, and I love those lines. So very difficult to say. I think even the male characters I kind of identify with. Very difficult.
It's time for the unveiling to come to an end. Thank you so much.